according to the left, I'm one of the most intimidating people on planet Earth. I'm absolutely terrifying. I am scary. I am threatening. I'm Darth Vader, right? I am just, if I walk into a room, you don't know if I'm going to force choke you. You don't know that I'm going to strike you down with my lightsaber. You just don't know. I am a dangerous human being, according to the left.
This is why, broadly speaking, the broad left needs to stop freaking out about people like Ben Shapiro showing up to conferences or to speaking engagements on college campuses. He's not a scary or intimidating guy. And if you genuinely believe we have the facts on our side, and I do, then you should welcome an opportunity to debate those ideas. Or if you really don't like him and you don't want to look at him, don't debate him, move on with your life. But that was Ben Shapiro reacting to, honestly, one of the most embarrassing stories about a conference that freaked out over his presence there. So it was the podcast movement conference. And apparently the Daily Wire, which was co-founded by Ben Shapiro, had a booth there, and Ben Shapiro showed up. And apparently the conference goers were so triggered by his presence that the individual who put this entire event together put out a statement apologizing and letting the people know it'll never happen again. Hi folks, we owe you an apology before sessions kick off for the day. Yesterday afternoon, Ben Shapiro briefly visited the PM22 Expo area near the Daily Wire booth. Though he was not registered or expected, we take full responsibility for the harm done by his presence. I hate everyone, like everyone. But it's true, it is. Like I need the left to please grow up and stop being embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Yeah. So first of all, Ben Shapiro is so happy about this, and I don't blame him. I'd be happy about it too. If the right wing put out a statement saying, "We're so sorry that Uygur entered the building. You guys are all now obviously instantly affected by him and will be mentally crippled by him for the rest of your lives." I would never stop talking about that. So don't help him. Don't help him. Look, can we acknowledge fairest show in America?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I hate everyone. So yeah, super fair.
Okay, that's one portion of our fairness. The other is that, look, when Shapiro's right, we say that he's right. Who cares if he shows up in the room?
Are you guys afraid of Ben Shapiro? Really? You're afraid of Ben Shapiro? Not our audience. I know our audience is not afraid, right? And I know that there are plenty of leftists out there who are not only not afraid of him, but are willing to debate him. But it's the loudest voices, especially on social media, that unfortunately end up drawing or painting a picture of the left that really irritates me, because they're not representative of the broader left. They just happen to be the loudest ones on social media. They happen to be the ones who complain the most, and they're not doing us any favors whatsoever. If you're so sensitive that someone's presence triggers you to this extent, then like you gotta move on to a different line of work or a different area of conversation. If politics gets you this riled up to the point where you can't even be in the same conference area as an individual you disagree with, that's insane.
Okay, first I have to note for comedic value, Waldorf Nation, who's a member and by the way has his own show, on Super Chat said, Ben Shapiro is less Vader and more Jar Jar. That's totally true. What are you making him Vader when he's Jar Jar? Thank you, Jeff Waldorf, great point. All right, look guys, I'm gonna add to what Anna's saying in chastising our side. Don't be traumatized by ideas. Who cares? Even if they're awful ideas, bigoted ideas. Okay, so like I said this when the original controversy happened. Ben Shapiro has said awful things about Muslims and Palestinians and Arabs, right? And he says they live in open sewage and all they know is violence. After, of course, the government he supports bombs the hell out of them and kills them. He says all they understand is violence. Okay, that's a terrible bigoted thing to say. I'm not traumatized by it. I would like to traumatize him for saying it, okay? And that's called intellectual battle. And by the way, here, watch, I'll do it.
Emotional damage.
Exactly, you need to give him emotional damage. There you go. Okay, Stephen, he agrees. So, look, guys, somebody who says that is an obvious open racist. He thinks that Arabs are inferior, and that's why they need to be occupied. That they're savages that only understand violence. You know who thinks that? A stupid person thinks that. You think we're all different and that Arabs are magically different because of their ethnicity? Only a brain dead moron would think that. See how easy that is? Okay, I'm not traumatized by Ben Shapiro. Right now, if he watches this, he's thinking, well, that's not quite fair. You know, the Arabs, they're really problematic. We can't ever free them. They're problematic to Arabs. Okay, so good, now I'm in his head. So that wasn't that hard. Why are you so traumatized by that?
Banning them from your conference, banning people like Ben Shapiro from your conference doesn't make Ben Shapiro magically disappear from life. He still exists. And more importantly, he has a massive platform. And if we fail to challenge the ideas that are expressed on that platform, well, then he and others like him get to run roughshod without a counterbalance to speak truth to the people and share an alternate set of ideas, right? And so that's really the issue at play here. Ben Shapiro is very influential. He's got, Republican money backing him. He's already got a massive advantage in that regard. And I'm just gonna be completely honest because this is the bias that I have. And I think it's important for people to know it, okay? I can't stand weakness. I can't stand it. I hate it. Okay, I'm honestly kind of disgusted by it. So if you're making the left look weak with your ridiculous need for a safe space at a podcast conference, you're not doing us any favors, and it's super counterproductive. And then, like, the thing that also gets to me, Cenk, and I got one final point on this, and we'll move on. If you also happen to be someone who purports to want an actual revolution in this country, but you get triggered by the presence of Ben Shapiro at a podcast conference, you don't really want a revolution. You like cosplaying a revolutionary on social media, but outside of that, outside of the fun and games that you're having online, you're not serious, so please step aside. That's where I stand on this.
Yeah, look, are there places where you need a safe space? Yeah, sure, your therapist's office. And the right wingers would say, no, I want to be able to bust into your therapist's office and shake you up, lab. Okay, no, weirdo. No, we all need privacy and leave us alone in our private lives, right? But if you're in a podcast conference, isn't the whole point an exchange of ideas? And so here, I'll do one last one. So both Christian and Muslim fundamentalists think that I am going to roast over an open fire for being an atheist and not believing in God. Okay, and by the way, God is going to torture me for the rest of eternity, okay? Every single second. Okay, now if you believe that sounds pretty traumatic, right? I'm not traumatized by that idea because I know the other side doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. So why would I be traumatized by them telling me snuffleupagus is gonna stuff you full of marshmallows? It's not a thing that's going to happen, okay? And Arabs don't live in open sewage and they don't just understand violence. So his bigoted ideas are not a threat to me. My job is to knock them down, okay? Come help us do that instead of worrying about being traumatized by anything.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.